Howdy, howdy, everybody. Shroud here. We are continuing to run the draft gauntlet. We are drafting Shards block today. We're not actually drafting traditional like Shards of Alara, Conflux, Alara Reborn. We're drafting the collated booster packs, which just have every card from the entire block in a big jumble. That's a kind of a newfangled Magic Online thing. The opening pack we've got is not especially a difficult decision. There's not any like premium removal. There's an Intimidation Bolt rather, which is a pretty good card, but it's double color. It's pretty heavy commitment. The rare is a 5/5 flyer. He's a giant monster. He's a sweet one, and we're going to take him. He's single color, which is pretty nice in an opening. If your first overall pick is a single color and it's actually of a comparable power level to the rest of the first overall picks, you're in pretty good shape. So I'm glad to keep the options open and take a powerful card here. And the next choice, I think the next pick is going to be Fiery Fall. You can pretty much draft anything, starting out from an Extractor Demon, but Grixis is the most likely archetype to end up in from here. Jund is probably the second most likely, and then various 4-color strategies and 5-color strategies kind of fall behind that. Fiery Fall works in all of them. It actually works very well in all of them, and you can really never start taking fixers early enough. The land cyclers are really kind of the glue that holds this format together. I've always felt so. Happy to take that here. We're not really declining on much. It's a better fixer than Mistvein Border Post, I think, and Fairy Machinist and Monster Scarabit are playable cards, but I would much rather have the fixer and the removal. Actually, this is probably the best fixer in the format, since it does something actually very powerful once you are already fixed. All right. The options here: Blood Cultist or Blood Pyre Elemental, I think are the two. Parasitic Strix is also pretty sweet, but that's moving into a third color a little earlier than I think we need to. It's also probably just not as powerful as either of these cards. So I'm not actually sure which one of these cards is better. It's been long enough since I've drafted this format that I feel like I should just snap no a thing like that. But what's this guy? Whenever another creature leaves the battlefield, I guess this kind of does that too. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Cultist. I don't know that that's right, but we already have one kind of expensive piece of removal for bigger things, so I like the Pinger here. There's a Resounding Thunder. Resounding Thunder is a sweet one, and it will absolutely for sure make our deck. It doesn't necessarily put us in Jund. We can easily just play it as 3 damage for 3. We can also probably facilitate ways to just touch green to pay the cycling, but not actually be a proper Jund deck. Either way, it's the best card in the pack. Well, by itself, the best card in the pack by a mile, and then definitely the best card in the pack for us by a mile. So we're happy to see that. And okay, Blister Beetle, sweet, but Crumbling Necropolis is most definitely going to be the pick here. The Tri-lands are huge in this format. They are. I've happily first picked them over premium removal if I felt like the deck needed it, and we don't necessarily need it just yet. But and this so far only fixes the black and the red. We don't know that we're going to be blue, but even if we end up in Jund, being able to touch blue for a splash card is valuable. And yeah, it's a clear pick here. The well has kind of run dry, I guess. There's not really a strong red-black card in this pack. Nakatl Hunt Pride is a pretty sweet one, but that would be casually moving into a third and a fourth color. So I don't think I'm going to take that here. Singe Mind Ogre is actually fine, but there's you're never excited about a Singe Mind Ogre. The other option, I guess, would be Colossal Might, which is a fine trick and kind of moves us a little heavier into Jund. I am gonna try and keep my options open, and yeah, I'm just gonna pick up the red black guy. Okay. Corpse Connoisseur can be good if you get him early, which we're getting him pretty early enough to know to enable unearth guys heavily. We already have an extractor demon who works with him, so I think he's going to be the pick here. The rest of the options aren't particularly exciting. Undead Leotau, Uncle Leo, he's really lackluster, but he makes the cut sometimes. As does Rackwater Elemental. I've actually liked this card quite a bit, but so a couple of good unearth options, but this is definitely the pick. Voices from the Void. I've never been a huge fan of Voices from the Void. Although I can take another one if I wanted. So we have the red-black Fixer. Arsenal Thresher is a blue-black card. We don't have any artifacts yet to enable it with. I'm pretty sure this is just a clear border post pick. Molten Frame is actually also a sweet sideboard card, but I'm gonna emphasize Fixers for now. Nothing special here. This is the pack we opened. Celestial Purge is probably was the second best card in that pack. Actually, it's funny that it wheeled like that. Card's real good against us. We're gonna snipe it. And the Monster Scarabid came back. That's pretty cool. Love that just a 3/3 flyer for 5 makes the lap casually in this set. I have never understood that, but Area Mystics always seem to go really late for its body. But yeah, it's not a card that fits for us. I think that Monster Scarabid is going to be the pick over Obelisk of Jund. Yep. He's incurable. He's not going to make the cut either, I don't think. This guy might, I guess. So this draft so far has a pretty strong sense of direction. I'm pretty pleased with the way this draft has gone so far. I drafted my fair share of regular Alara. I've only drafted with the collated booster packs 3 or 4 times maybe, and my experience with them has generally been negative. Well, basically every time I've drafted these packs, I've just kind of ended up with like a jumbled 4.5 color mess. So I'm glad to actually have direction this time. In traditional Alara draft, I had a strong preference to drafting Esper, but my experience with the collated packs has been that it's a lot harder to actually make the dedicated Esper deck come together. Huh. So we could pick up a second Blood Cultist to stick with black-red. We could also move into Jund for a Branching Bolt. Branching Bolt probably the better card. Blood Cultist keeps on color with us. Shambling Remains is also pretty sweet with Corpse Connoisseur and Extractor Demon. Huh. The curve is bad right now. We don't have a 2-drop, but that's fine. It's a pretty slow format. We're actually choosing between a bunch of 3-drops anyway, so it's not really pertinent here. I think I'm just going to take the second Blood Cultist. Yeah. pingers go up in value as you acquire more of them too. So and that and the fact that we don't know for sure that we're actually going to be playing green is probably the more pertinent decider. There's another Triland. This one actually misses 2 of our colors, so I don't think we're going to take it. Probably the best card in the pack is Bant Sureblade. Again, that's not a card for us. The choice for us is between Grixis Slave Driver. Is a sweet unearth guy. He actually gets a little value if you just go and get him with the Corpse Connoisseur, so that's a really appealing pick. This Redragger is also pretty good, but I think if we were going to take an unearthed creature, I think we would take the Slave Driver. Wretched Banquet is also on the table still. Wretched Banquet is not a great card. I always liked it better in like 5-colory type control decks that would want things like Obelisk of Grixis or Obelisk of Jund. That could tap out for that on turn 3 and then use this to keep the tempo. I'm gonna go with the Slave Driver here. I think it's the most powerful card in the pack for us anyway. So here there's another Fiery Fall, which is awesome. We do like to see that. Fleshbag Marauder would actually be really sweet with all our unearthed cards, but yeah, we need to take the Fixer where it presents itself in such a neat little package like this. A lot of good options for us, actually, and this is actually a fairly deep pack for everyone, but Fiery Fall is the pick for us, not close here. Yeah. Not really anything to see for us, sadly. Architects of Will, I guess, is probably the best card in either Grixis or Jund here, and it's fine. I mean, it's a pretty uninspiring little dude. It does cycle for 1, so you can definitely do worse. Filigree Fracture is also a super sweet sideboard card. I think in a vacuum, Filigree Fracture is actually the more powerful card here, but I'm gonna take the Architects of Will just for consistency's sake. There's a super late Magma Spray, which is pretty cool. Really, the only other card worth noting in the pack is Sigil Paladin. We're not moving in on Sigil Paladin for sure. So, Magma Spray it is. Okay. A lot of good Naya cards actually in this pack. Well, in pack 2 so far. Immortal Coil. I wonder if there's something sick we could do with this. So, I mean, we can fill up our graveyard with Extractor Demon, but that's kind of a loose combo. Jund Sojourners, I think, is probably the pick for us. It's a zap. We might end up touching green to actually cast it, but normally you just shoot things with this, and that's fine. I do love shooting some things. More Naya cards. Back-to-back Knights of the Skyward Eye. This card is just real good. An Obelix we can't really use. The choices for us, I think, are between Canyon Minotaur and Unsummon. I don't know that we would actually play Canyon Minotaur. I think we would, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll snap him up. So far, we're actually still straight black-red, which is very, very rare in this format. It's actually, I intended to keep my options open until a signal presented itself, but so far there just hasn't been one that tells us to go specifically into either blue or green. Here, the pick's pretty easy. We're going to take the 3-2 for 2. We don't actually have a ton of ways. We have the Porter Post, 2 Blood Cultists, whatever. We'll get more, and it's the clear pick for our deck here. Monstrous Carabid comes back around. Sweet, I like this guy. I guess sideboard naturalize is basically we can either hate hindering light, which is actually looking pretty good against us, or sideboard naturalize. And yeah, I could see myself needing this. Yep, another black-red guy it is. Red-green fixers are still here, and these cards would be pretty handy, but since there is a body that is looking like it's definitely going to make our deck, I'm going to snap it up. There you go. Cut this one. So we're looking at, okay, not counting Necropolis or Veinfire Border Post, we basically have 18 solid playables. Yeah, Mastodon going last. I like Mastodon. What a shame. So yeah, the deck is really coming together. We don't actually need that many. Let's see, I think we can go ahead and cut this guy too. So I guess we need like 6 playables out of the backpack. Which I bet we can find. So really we're going to look more to see if we can find a sweet splash and mostly just kind of fill out the curve and fill out holes in the deck, which I don't see any glaring ones really. The choice here is between a second Magma Spray and another Tri-Land. We have plenty of removal. We have 2 Fiery Falls, Resounding Thunder, 2 Blood Cultists. I guess it's by Alara standards, and by black-red Alara standards in particular, that may not be considered plenty of removal so much, but I think I'm going to take the Tri-Land here. We have a reasonable amount of fixing. We have a Border Post and a black-red Tri-Land already, but this, again, we're going to keep the options open for the backpack just in case a sweet green card comes along. We already have the naturalized that I could see myself boarding in, so. And consistency really is everything. When you consider that almost half of the cards in my stack so far need both black and red mana. Even just as a black-red dual land, this card is huge. Telemann Performance, it's cute, but not really a signal. I don't think the card is actually that good, so I'm not too worried about it. The choices for us are Jund Battle Mage, which finally gives us actually a sweet reason to have forests in our deck. Putrid Leech, likewise, although I think Jund Battle Mage is better in this build. And then Deadshot Minotaur. So really, all the good options here are green. It looks like, barring something like Skeletal Cathari, which is not really that exciting. And I think I'm gonna go with the Battle Mage here. This can cycle, so if we ended up just touching green, then this would be a little better. But this, I guess, also does things. Not super exciting things if you're not green, but the pinking aspect is fine. So we'll snap him up. There's a Tide Hollow Strix, which is, I think, the best card in the pack for us. Maybe just the best card in the pack. Yeah, kind of is. There's that. There's also a Rupture Spire. Rupture Spire is normally like the best card in your deck if you're drafting this block. For us, we don't even necessarily need a Rupture Spire that badly. So I could forego it if I wanted to. Of course, Tidal Strix is actually not a super exciting reward for skipping out on a Rupture Spire. I'm just going to take the Rupture Spire. We'll see if it may not even actually make the deck, which I think would probably be a first for me in this format, but we'll keep the option open. And since we kind of moved in there on green with the Jund Battle Mage, so Putrid Leech is on the table. pretty uninspiring on the splash, but we could always just kind of get there and slam it on turn 2, and if we do that, it's actually very, very good. Although I just saw this guy, and this guy's probably better in a heavy black red with a smaller splash of green sort of deck. Wretched Banquet's here too, but I think that I think we're gonna want to fill out with an aggressive body. Yeah, nothing super exciting to see here. Maniacal Rage is actually playable, especially in a deck that might actually be kind of aggressive. You can put it on your own guys and go to town with them. You can also, if they have one good blocker, you can put it on that blocker. So it definitely has some play. The other option would be like Controlled Instincts for the sideboard, or Sangret Surge. We don't have any like trampling guys so far, so not too excited about Sangret Surge. Yeah, I'm going to take the sideboard card here. Another Fiery Fall. Wow, okay. We have a ton of fixing to not really enable much at this point, which is, again, such a strange problem to have in Alara block. It's normally kind of the other way around, but it is better than Dregscape Zombie, that's for sure. At this point, it is looking like we could actually enable this to get someone for 3, but that's, I guess, kind of a stretch because we're probably only going to play 1 forest. So, yeah, I think sure it's removal if anything. It's expensive removal, but that's okay. John Tackblade filling it out. Just a cheap little beater, which is exactly what we need. Yep, pleased with that. Okay, and got this Flying Death Touch dude who is playable. 4/3 for 4, who is clunky. Cycles for black. I think we'll take this guy. I don't know we'll actually play him, but he's reasonable. There's another land cycler, which we don't actually just do not need at this point. I think we're probably going to take Zombie Outlander for the sideboard here. We don't need Obelisk of Esper, I don't think, so. Skeletal Cathari it is. Does this card do anything? Yeah. Doubt I'll play it. Could see myself boarding that in. Kind of doubt it, but yeah, this came back around. And this. I don't know which of these I'm more likely to board in. Probably this. Alright, that is a deck. Let's see. I think I can skip the deck building segment in this particular instance. We're close enough to just having an exact stack of playables that, if anything, I'll have to make like a cut or two. But yeah, so these we're down to 25. So like we would need to make 20. These 4 we're down to 24, and I might be missing. Basically, I just need to make one cut from this stack. So yeah, it's probably going to be Pestilent Cathari, or Skeletal Cathari, one of the two. So I'll skip that process, and we'll take you straight to round 1. I'll see you then.